The NASCAR antitrust lawsuit enters week 2. Let's talk about it.
A courtroom in Charlotte has become the center of a storm that is shaking the entire NASCAR world. An economist took the stand and revealed that NASCAR owes its race teams a staggering $364 million. This isn't an offhand guess or a rough estimate. It's a carefully calculated figure derived from years of financial data, contracts, and revenue streams. The number alone is enough to send shockwaves through the sport. The controversy began last September when NASCAR issued a charter agreement with an incredibly tight and inflexible deadline. Sign by midnight or lose your spot in the sport. Most teams signed the agreement under pressure, but 2 teams refused. Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports chose not to comply. Instead, they filed a lawsuit challenging NASCAR's charter system and overall business practices, setting the stage for a legal battle that has now captured national attention. Fast forward to the present, and the trial is well underway. Tensions are high, and the courtroom has seen long, grueling days. The pace has tested the patience of the judge, with lawyers filing objections at all hours of the night and witnesses taking entire days to deliver their testimony. No one knows exactly when this case will conclude, and the uncertainty adds to the drama. Edward Snyder, an economics professor and former Department of Justice official, took the stand Monday. His role is to determine the precise financial impact NASCAR's business practices have had on the teams. Snyder spent countless hours reviewing contracts, analyzing revenue streams, and comparing NASCAR to other major sports leagues. In his testimony, he drew a direct comparison to Formula One. In F1, teams receive 45% of the sport's total revenue, while NASCAR teams take home only 25%. That gap, Snyder argued, represents the revenue teams should have earned but didn't receive under the current system. His calculations were specific. According to Snyder, 23XI Racing lost $215 million, and Front Row Motorsports lost $148 million over the relevant period. Combine those figures, and you get the $364 million that has become the centerpiece of this case. But Snyder didn't stop there. Looking at all 36 charter teams from 2021 through 2024, he calculated that the total shortfall for all teams exceeds $1 billion, a staggering sum that underscores the scale of the dispute. Earlier in the trial, NASCAR President Steve Phelps testified in defense of the charter system. He argued that the system benefits teams by guaranteeing them spots in races and providing steady income. He maintained that NASCAR negotiated the agreements fairly with every team. However, private messages between team owners, discovered during the discovery process, revealed a very different story. Many owners expressed frustration, anger, and a sense of being cornered. Despite those feelings, most signed the agreements because they felt they had no viable alternative. Jonathan Marshall, the head of the Race Team Alliance, which represents NASCAR team owners, testified that just 14 minutes after NASCAR sent out its final charter offer, he knew the 3 largest owners, Joe Gibbs, Rick Hendrick, and Roger Penske, would accept. Once those deals were secured, Marshall said smaller teams had little to no chance of negotiating better terms. The reality, he explained, is that once the biggest names signed, the offer effectively became the only one available. The charter system itself is at the heart of this legal dispute. Introduced in 2016, it replaced the older model in which teams had to qualify for every single race based solely on speed. Before charters, even strong teams occasionally missed races due to a poor qualifying run. Charters guarantee a spot in all 36 races and provide a share of NASCAR's revenue. On the surface, this seems like a clear benefit to teams, offering stability and a reliable source of income. But the problem lies in the fine print. Charters are not permanent like franchises in the NFL or NBA. NASCAR reserves the right to change the rules or even eliminate the charter system entirely. Teams are essentially renting their position in the sport with strict rules and limitations attached. The agreement NASCAR asked teams to sign also included a release clause. Sign it, and teams would waive their right to sue NASCAR in the future for any reason. This clause is precisely why Michael Jordan and Bob Jenkins refused to sign. Their legal argument, now before the court, focuses on antitrust law, the rules designed to prevent monopolies and preserve fair competition. The teams argue that NASCAR violates these laws in several ways. The France family who founded NASCAR in 1948 still retains control of much of the sport. Between France-owned tracks and Speedway Motorsports properties, NASCAR effectively owns nearly every major racetrack on the schedule. Additionally, NASCAR negotiates all television deals and maintains control over nearly every aspect of the racing operation, from cars to rules. Snyder explained that after the charter system began, NASCAR negotiated exclusive agreements with tracks, preventing them from working with rival racing series. Prior to 2016, tracks were contracted year to year, which allowed more flexibility. These exclusive multi-year contracts, Snyder argued, were designed to prevent competitors from entering the market. Teams now have nowhere else to race at the highest level of stock car competition. The next-gen car adds another layer of control. NASCAR owns all intellectual property related to it, meaning teams cannot independently modify parts or develop new technology in ways they once could. Every element of racing is now tightly controlled. Put together, these conditions create what the lawsuit describes as a monopoly. Teams have no negotiating leverage and cannot threaten to race elsewhere because no other option exists. NASCAR defends this level of control by claiming it is necessary to maintain fairness and consistency. Centralized management ensures that the rules are applied evenly and that the sport operates smoothly. They argue this structure is a major reason for NASCAR's success and popularity. Removing that level of control, NASCAR contends, could risk destabilizing the sport entirely. Judge Kenneth Bell has expressed frustration at the slow pace of the trial. Monday morning was scheduled to start at 9 a.m., but proceedings didn't begin until 9:30 due to the need to review weekend objections, some of which arrived at 2:55 a.m. Snyder was on the stand for nearly the entire day, with cross-examination continuing. Major figures are still scheduled to testify, including Steve Phelps, Richard Childress, one of the most respected owners in NASCAR history, and Jim France, the chairman overseeing the sport. Michael Jordan himself appeared in court Friday, attracting national media attention. Jordan testified as both a lifelong fan and as an owner committed to improving conditions for teams. He explained how prior negotiations by other owners had failed, prompting him to step in and challenge NASCAR directly. Jordan is no stranger to navigating sports ownership. Having experienced the NBA firsthand, he understands what true franchise ownership entails, including value, rights, and long-term stability. Unlike NBA teams, NASCAR charters do not carry permanent ownership stakes or guaranteed growth. Other team owners cannot join the lawsuit because they signed the agreements, but they are paying close attention. A victory for 2311 Racing and Front Row could force NASCAR to renegotiate contracts with all teams, potentially reshaping revenue distribution, charter rules, and operational freedoms. Snyder also highlighted NASCAR's financial strength. By the end of 2024, NASCAR had $2.2 billion in assets, with Goldman Sachs valuing the entire operation at $5 billion. Between 2021 and 2024, NASCAR averaged $250 million in profit annually, while the France family withdrew $400 million in distributions. Snyder noted that NASCAR has the financial capability to pay teams more, but because teams have limited options, the organization hasn't been required to. At its core, this case is about far more than just $364 million. It's about control. Who governs NASCAR? Are teams partners with a voice in decision-making, or are they participants in a family-run operation where terms are dictated by the owners? If the teams succeed, NASCAR may have to make charters permanent, adjust revenue sharing, and provide teams with more independence in operations. If NASCAR prevails, its control could become even stronger, leaving teams with less leverage than ever before. The trial is expected to last for weeks, with appeals likely extending the legal process for years. But the rift between NASCAR and its teams is already evident. Many owners felt forced into legal action because negotiation alone was insufficient. Bob Jenkins, who runs Front Row Motorsports, has been involved in the sport for over 20 years, motivated by passion rather than profit. Operating without sustainable income isn't viable in the long term, and eventually, change becomes necessary. Jordan and Hamlin's 2311 Racing is profitable mainly because of Jordan's unique ability to secure sponsorships that other teams cannot obtain. While the $364 million figure dominates headlines, the larger question is the future structure of NASCAR. Will it remain a family-controlled operation with total authority, or will teams gain real ownership stakes and influence? Judge Bell's ruling will determine the answer, shaping NASCAR and its relationship with teams for the next decade. The outcome of this case could redefine the sport entirely. Revenue splits, charter rules, team independence, and even ownership models may all be reconsidered. For now, the trial continues, with every day in court adding new layers to one of the most significant legal battles in NASCAR history.